G'day, wonderful listeners. This is episode 21 of Trev's Talk, and I'm your host, Trev. Last week, I promised to keep you up to date on my hopes of stepping out and having a go to get on Radio Fremantle's board and then maybe getting to partner with a past student on a joint radio show. Well, since episode 20 was podcasted, I received an email from Radio Fremantle disappointing me by knocking back my application to join their board. If you are a regular listener, you are accompanying me on my spiritual journey and will see my disappointments as well as my accomplishments. My story will always be told with complete honesty and transparency. I will disclose the bad news as well as the good news. Remember in episode 15 when I spoke of how I am doing Our Lady's work by trial and error? I see a possibility and go for it, and then sometimes I must delete that effort and try again with something new. Remember the special dream I had where I was building a boat in a big shed using materials I was not familiar with, and sometimes I had to pull apart a section I had completed because it was not right and then rebuild that section? This dream was to teach me that I was doing my work for Our Lady by trial and error, and applying to Radio Fremantle for a position on their board was not apparently a move Our Lady wanted, so my hopes to get on the radio at this point in time was not to be. However, I will keep stored at the back of my mind the fact that I had seen Peter, my fellow radio course student, perform a Latin language blessing over another student's meal at the radio station's award night, and described me before in episode 15. I believe Peter will become important in some way in future. In the meantime, I will continue with my podcasting and report on progress made in other areas, like the Moody Scholarship Fund project, and how I have great hope that it will lead me to stepping out and having a go at involving the three great Abrahamic faiths. It seems to me to be a great ask that I should be successful at getting Muslims, Jews and Christians to come together and join with me in such an ambitious project. At the moment, I have the vision document describing what the Scholarship Fund is all about, and I have opened the fund's separate bank account for handling monies in and monies out. I still await Pete, the principal, arranging a school assembly whereby I can award this year's selected students with certificates and get photo evidence of that. So I'm nearly ready to meet with and pitch the scholarship project to a Muslim imam. Remember the helicopter pilot in episode 20 who gave all the assembled kids in the school grounds an inspiring talk between flights in and out of the school? He spoke on becoming a pilot or aviation engineer with the implanted idea that anything is possible if you try hard at school. Well, I used to do that often with the kids. I always held up hope to them. I always offered them a future if they set their minds to it and worked hard at keeping their dream alive. Back in 2011, I asked some students what they wanted to be when they grew up and found two girls, Lizzie and Bella, who had dreams of future jobs they wanted to do. Lizzie wanted to be a doctor and Bella wanted to be a singing teacher. So without saying anything to the girls, I investigated ways to reinforce those dreams. I inquired at Derbyl Yerrigan Health Service, an Aboriginal service in East Perth, to find, to my delight, that they had an Aboriginal lady doctor there who agreed to giving a talk to the two girls if I should bring them in to her sometime. I also Googled singing teachers and found a lady in Mount Lawley, which is about a 20-minute drive from our area. That lady agreed to give the girls a talk. So I got parental permission to take both girls for inspirational talks during their next school holidays. When I took both girls to the singing teacher, she was so impressed with the idea of what I was trying to do for the girls that she offered to come to the school and take a music class with guitars and singing. She took that class for quite some time and when leaving, donated several guitars to the school. That was the first ever music class at the school, and Bella, whose favourite song was Jolene by Dolly Parton, got an inspirational talk and some understanding of where and how singers could get paid work. When I took the two girls to the Aboriginal Health Service in East Perth for an inspirational talk from the lady doctor, it went really well, and Lizzie got to hear how working in health could be really rewarding to the health worker, as well as doing good works by helping the sick. But wait, there's more. When I had the girls there at the Aboriginal Health Service, a specialist cardiologist was there, visiting from the Royal Perth Hospital. He had some medical equipment for display to the girls, with knowledge of just how the equipment was used in a heart operation. One piece of equipment was a stent, and the cardiologist demonstrated how it was inserted while small and thin, and then expanded out when in the right spot in the correct arterial position. I must say, not only did the girls seem fascinated with the cardiologist's demonstration, but I was also keenly interested and enjoyed his talk tremendously. The girls and I were even more blessed because the cardiologist demonstrated simply how much sugar was in several common foods and drinks you can buy in the shops. He had Weet-Bix at one end of a line of foods and drinks and a can of Coke at the other end of the line. Next to each item in the line, he had a little pile of sugar cubes. Alongside the Weet-Bix, he had only one cube, and as you looked along the line, the number of sugar cubes beside each food or drink increased until there was a very large number of sugar cubes beside the can of Coke. It was clearly demonstrated which foods or drinks were not good for you. Then after the talk was over and on the drive home, the girls talked about how they did not know a lot of words. English was a bit difficult for them. So I promised them a pocket dictionary each and explained how to use them to learn new words. But then I went and spoilt the sugar demonstration by stopping on the drive home at the ice cream parlour in Midland and buying the girls an ice cream. All in all, I believed the girls would remember the occasion for quite some time and hopefully keep their dreams alive. Getting goosebumps, which give me ideas, and then stepping out and having a go to bring them to fruition, has been the major part of my life since my amazing encounters with the Holy Spirit at Medjugorje. The dream in episode 15 that warned me I was building a big boat in a large shed, which sometimes needed sections of work pulled apart and redone, taught me I was working for Our Lady by trial and error. This knowledge helps me when something I've spent a lot of thought and effort on doesn't work out. I don't get all depressed about it. I just think, oh well, that wasn't meant to be, and move on to other projects I'm doing at the time. Guess what, wonderful listeners? It's come to that time again, but don't forget to please subscribe, like, share and comment on YouTube, or follow, rate, like and comment on Spotify. I need lots of subscribers or followers if I'm going to be able to make a difference to all the awful things we've got going in the world right now. We need people to speak out and stand up against all the awful things working hard against our true democracy, where we could have honesty and transparency all of the time. So that's it for this week. I look forward to your company again next week. This is Trev, tuning out.